Let's go! Don't tell Dan Campbell and these Detroit Lions that this game tonight in San Francisco was, quote, meaningless. Because it wasn't. Just like how the final game of the 2022 regular season in Lambeau was considered, quote, meaningless. Dan Campbell and that Lions team didn't care. They still went out there and beat the Packers that night, didn't they? Sure, standings-wise, win or lose, it would not have impacted this Lions team tonight and next week's game at home against the Vikings. But despite that, this team still treated it business as usual. They wanted to go out there and get a dub in San Francisco. Number 14 on the season, stay undefeated on the road, and they did just that. Let's go! It feels so good to get revenge on the San Francisco 49ers. Woo! Throw up the W's, baby. Lions win in San Francisco. Like I mentioned already, that is now 14 wins on this regular season. 14. And I'd love to get one more. I know you would too. I know this Lions team would as well. But we'll talk about that in a second here. We would love to make it 15 next week at home against Minnesota. But as for tonight, that is 14 on this regular season. We went undefeated on the road in this regular season too. I know that this team has to love that they went undefeated on the road in this 2024 regular season. And by the way, I'll mention this too. We completed the sweep of the NFC West this season as well. All right, let's talk about this one. Of course, I got my notes right here as I always do. You know, the offense obviously deserves all the credit in the world for this win tonight. But believe it or not, hear me out. I feel like the defense deserves some credit too. We'll talk about that in a minute here, but I think the defense deserves some credit too. But not as much as the offense. We got to start with the offense because the offense was absolutely rolling tonight. As they usually always are, the offense was rolling tonight. They were on fire in the first half, and they were especially on fire in the second half. You know, in the first half of this football game, you had the 2 Waymo touchdowns, and then in the second half, before, the victory formation to end the football game, the Lions scored on every offensive drive in the second half tonight. Every single one. You had the Sam Laporta 6-yard touchdown, and then the TP 2-point conversion. You had a Jake Bates 57-yard field goal. Amon-Ra St. Brown 4-yard touchdown. Jake Bates 42-yard field goal. And then the Jahmyr Gibbs Sonic, who we will talk more about in a second here, 30-yard exclamation point touchdown. JG QB1, Jared Goff. Another awesome night for him. His final numbers in this one, 26 for 34, 303 passing yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. That's my MVP right there, baby. MVP. That's my MVP. That's our MVP. That's our quarterback, man. Let's go, JG16. J-Mo, who I just mentioned, had the 2 first half touchdowns. He was awesome once again tonight too. 5 catches, 77 yards, and those 2 total touchdowns in this one. Sam Laporta, 6 for 64 in a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, the Binky. I'm done calling him the Binky. That was so last week. We're not calling him the Binky. He is the Sun God. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 for 60 in a touchdown. There's a lot of good candidates for Offensive Player of the Game. I was really, really close to giving my Offensive Player of the Game tonight to Waymo, and I feel bad for not giving it to him, but at the same time, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sonic, Supersonic. I feel like you got to give him your offensive player of the game tonight. His following numbers in this one: 18 rushes, 117 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Like I mentioned, that exclamation point, 30-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter to go along with 4 catches for 46 yards. Without Knuckles, Sonic has turned into Supersonic. And once again, as the lead back in the backfield, he was sensational, man. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sonic, Supersonic, my offensive player of the game tonight. The Lions offense was on fire tonight. They deserve a lot of credit for this victory. And believe it or not, as I said earlier, I feel like the defense deserves a little bit of credit for this win tonight too. You probably think I'm crazy for saying that, but let me explain myself, okay? I know it wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, especially in the first half. But in the second half of this football game, when this defense needed to lock in, get some turnovers, make some plays, make some stops, they did. They did that. They did just that. You know, you did start with a Purdy to Debo touchdown to start the second half, but after that, before the garbage time San Francisco touchdown in the fourth quarter, they didn't give up another point in this football game. Other than the garbage time touchdown late, San Francisco only had 7 points in the second half of this game. You know, following that touchdown drive to start the second half for San Francisco, the 49ers in this one, you know, their offensive drives, you had the first of 2 Kirby interceptions. Kirby's Coney Island was open tonight, baby. Interceptions number 8 and 9 on the season. That first one, that was obviously number 8. The next San Francisco drive, Amik got a big stop on third down to set up a missed Jake Moody 58-yard field goal. That was huge. Next drive, and the last one I'll mention here because the drive after that was the garbage time touchdown. Kirby's second interception on the night, number 9 on the season. By the way, Kirby Joseph, of course, he's my defensive player of the game for the Lions tonight. But, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the point I'm trying to make here, I'm not saying it was perfect. I know it wasn't. Especially in that first half, it really wasn't pretty. We really couldn't stop the 49ers offense. I know it wasn't perfect. You look at that final score and see that they gave up 34 points. You might think to yourself, if you didn't watch this game, ooh, geez, the defense really wasn't good tonight. And even if you did watch this game, obviously you'll know, again, it wasn't perfect. AG is going to have his guys hopefully ready for a bounce back next week against Minnesota, especially if we get Thor back. Woo! If we get Thor back for that Vikings game next week, that is a major, major piece to get back on this defense. We'll see, though. Fingers crossed. Please, football gods, let's get Thor back. Anyway, I know it wasn't perfect, but I think the defense deserves a little bit of credit for this victory tonight. Maybe not as much as the offense, but I think they do deserve some credit because I felt like they were a lot better in the second half tonight. They were getting stops, they were getting takeaways, they were getting sacks. I absolutely think the defense deserves a little bit of credit for this victory tonight. Even though it might not have been perfect, especially in the first half, and even if at the end of the day they gave up 34 points in this one. Am I concerned about the defense going into the Minnesota game and the playoffs? I'm not. I'm honestly not, ladies and gentlemen. I've said this before in front of this camera, and I'll say it again right now. I do trust this defense. They may give up points like we saw tonight, but I do trust this defense to get a crucial stop when they need to. I do trust them to get a takeaway or two when they need to, exactly like we saw tonight. And it's not even just tonight. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen them in recent weeks. Though they've given up some points, when they need to step up and get a stop, they've done just that. So no, I'm honestly really not too concerned about the defense going into the Minnesota game next week and the playoffs after that. Again, if we get Thor back, that would be a massive boost for this defense. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, all in all, another good win for the Lions tonight. And maybe the most important takeaway from this Lions victory is the fact that it seems like we stayed healthy after this one. It seems like we escaped with no injuries at all. I mean, the game did literally just end. Dan Campbell hasn't even spoken yet, so we'll see what he says post-game. But it seems like we avoided any injuries at all. So that's obviously very good news. And we're getting healthier. That's also great news. I've already talked about hopefully getting Thor back for next week against Minnesota. Jalen Reeves-Maybin was back tonight. And it seems like Leaf is very close to returning as well. Maybe we get him back for the Vikings game, which would be a boost for not only the offense, but the special teams too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, with that, that's all I got for you in this one. Enjoy your Victory Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy New Year as well. If you're going to be going out and celebrating, be safe. Have a good time. And, yeah, we will see you again following the massive Week 18 NFL regular season finale, Sunday Night Football, Vikings, Lions, winner gets the 1 seed in the NFC, that first round bye, and the NFC North title. Loser gets the 5th seed and has to go on the road to start the playoffs. The NFL scriptwriters got exactly what they wanted with this one. Obviously, the stakes don't get any higher than this. I am so ready for this football game. Ford Field is going to be absolutely electric. Ford Field is going to be insane, man. I can't wait to see what Ford Field's going to be like. I'm not going to the game, but even from just a viewing standpoint, it's still going to be insane to see what Ford Field is going to be like for this football game. I can't wait. See you following Sunday Night Football next week, baby. Until then, as always, let's freaking go Lions, baby. Let's lock up that 1 seed and let's make it back-to-back NFC North titles. Let's go!